see the vehicles disappearing into the tunnel. Construction of this massive project began in 1886, and it is made up of 6 reinforced concrete prefabricated units. The investor basin was created and the trench for the sections was excavated. The sections were then lowered slowly, one by one, then linked together. Finally, the trench was then filled in, bringing the riverbed back to its original level. It is Britain's first immersed tube tunnel, stretching for 3/4 of a mile and designed to last for 120 years. Military chiefs to work out a way of getting all the necessary equipment from the naval vessels moored out at sea across very shallow beaches to the landing ground. It was decided that a floating harbour was needed to be built in sections and then floated across the channel and assembled on the French beaches. In great secrecy, suitable areas were chosen to build sections of the Milby Harbour, and convents included. The area used is now the marina. Reminder, the local pubs called the Wilton. Many of the town's hotels, many evacuee children in the surrounding countryside, making it a home that was far safer than here in the countryside, rather than in large cities like Liverpool, Manchester, or Birmingham. Please be aware that this trip is a one-way only, and you will need to reboard the same side of the road as you got off. On our left is the Conwy estuary. The name Conwy is thought to be pre-Welsh. The river is 27 miles long and rises in the heart of Snowdonia beyond Betws y Cwm, despite its locally tranquil appearance. Irish warriors trade dating from at least 3000 BC. For the last 100 years or so, it's been noted to be the queen of all Wales resorts. Many fascinating reminders of the lives of the Great Queen remain held up. Harlech Wells, Llan was the Welsh name of the church of Tyndall comes from the name of the 6th century Saint Tyndall, who founded a church in Tyndall, bringing Christianity to the area. There is still a church on that site dedicated to Saint Tyndall. So basically, Llandin means the parish of Tyndall. This area was home to a Mr. Charles Pepper. He came to fame as the designer of the Royal Air Force insignia. There was much conjecture at the time as to the identity of the bird represented on the badge. Many thought it was a bee, but there was always some doubt. Some years later, Charles Pepper was to assure everyone that it was in fact one called Mr. Albatross from the National Museum. Near us here once stood the Penmorfa Hotel, originally a private house built in 1862 for the Very Reverend Henry Liddell, Dean of Christ Church in Oxford. Liddell stayed here during college breaks with his family, his retinue of servants, and important and privileged guests. One of Liddell's daughters was called Alice, and this is the Alice on which Lewis Carroll is the famous character in Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. This is the West Shore, a stretch of golden sand overlooking Conway Bay. This is a popular spot for families, water sports enthusiasts, and especially walkers, as the Wales coastal path runs right along the shore. There is a boating lake, children's play area, cafe and toilet facilities for those wishing to alight here. As the bus turns, look down to the little island on our left. This is our bus stop for the West Shore. If you are leaving us here, check with your driver for the time of later buses. The circular glass building here is another relic from Victorian times. It was built as a shelter and waiting room for the tram system that operated here between 1907 and 1956. The trams transported local townsfolk and holiday makers around Llandudno, and they could even travel further afield too, as far east as Colwyn Bay. Much of the original tramway still exists, although modern streets have now largely covered them over. On the original site of the town's market hall. Later, it became the Palladium Theatre. And if you take a closer look at this splendidly restored and renovated building, you can see how it resembles the famous London Palladium.
Oh, that's about it.
I do
That's
hope
about
you
it. So
have
let's
enjoyed your tour.
get off in about 2 minutes.
Thank you for joining
Hope you
us.
enjoyed
And
it.
of course, many thanks to our driver. Remember
Something
to
different
hold
to
on
do.
to your tickets, as they will allow you a discount
Quite interesting,
of
really.
any other sightseeing tour
Catch you
either
later.
here in the UK